me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. You could take a look in a book, that's fine. Or you could sit back, relax, and unwind and read me romance. Read me romance.
Welcome back, lady listeners.
Welcome back, lady listeners. We have a brand new book from Cassie Mint this week.
Woo!
It's called Something Sweet. I think I even said last week, I was like, oh, we've got something sweet from Cassie Mint. And I was like, she's literally bringing us something sweet is the name of it. So we're so excited to have Cassie with us. We've you've talked about her for a long time. And I was thinking, have we had her on the podcast before? I know. And that's what we were talking about at one point, because we were like, how have we not had her on here before? Because I feel like you've talked about her books plenty of times. So it was just sort of funny when it got around to it. It was like, oh, yeah, let's have you on the podcast. And I was like, wait, have you not already been on here?
It is weird. Like when I seen that I was like, God, I feel like she should have been on here already. Mm-hmm. But I didn't, because I've been reading her for a long time.
I know. And she's got tons of audiobooks too that I love. I was just like, oh, wow, this is weird. But again, when you get into we're on year 6 or something, I think. And, we're at over 300 books. It's hard to keep up, especially with people we talk to consistently, especially if we do ads for them on the podcast or if we do newsletters or anything like that. And we're either talking to them or talking about them. It kind of feels like they're already with us, that sort of thing where it's like, oh, obviously she's already here. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. So we're going to talk about Cassie Mint and everything else with her stuff in just a little bit. But before then, we're going to catch up. Obviously, y'all know what we do around here. So one thing I forgot to tell you, something else I had to go do today was get my license renewed because I didn't realize this. My daughters, we got them passports in 2019, the first time. And if you're under 16, they're only good for 5 years. And if they expire when you're under 16, you cannot renew them. You have to get a new passport every time. So for a kid under 16. So anyways, my parents are going to take them on a trip next year or later this year. And they needed a passport. I think they only need a birth certificate, but just in case, I was like, well, let me just check. And of course they expire next month. So anyways, we get up there and I have to fill out a ton of paperwork for myself as their parent to do it. Mm-hmm. And so we're going through the thing and I'm handing the lady at the post office who I know because I go up there all the fucking time. So my lady Stella that's up there, she's like, oh girl, your driver's license expires on your birthday. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, that's next week. And I was like, oh shit, it is. It's actually today, guys. It's June 11th. Today is my birthday.
Oh, shit.
When this airs, this will actually be my birthday. But yeah, and I was like, I didn't get a notice or anything. And I realized what happened is, you know how they're doing the real IDs now? Mm-hmm. Have you heard about that? Okay.
I have one.
Okay. So I have one too. I got it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. When we moved into this house, I was like, okay, well, I'm getting my address changed. I'm going to go ahead and get the real ID at the same time. So I went to the post office, and the first time I went up there, they were like, oh no, you got to bring da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, because I had my birth certificate, my social security card, and my passport. And they were like, we need a power bill. And I was like, a power bill. Bitch,
not everybody has a power bill.
I was like, what the fuck? But I guess it was all the shit you have to prove where you live and all this, everything else. And I was like, you know what? Okay. I waited an hour the first time. So the second time I go up there, I get all this shit. And so I'm going to preface this with saying I had to switch from South Carolina to North Carolina. I did not switch. I was riding dirty. I was riding on South Carolina tags, living in North Carolina for 4 years because we still had our house. Yeah, we still had our house in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And taxes in North Carolina are more expensive, especially for auto. They're 5 times more expensive.
Oh, Jesus.
So we still had our house in South Carolina until we bought this house in 2016, 2017. We still had our house in South Carolina. So I kept doing it until we did it. So let me just preface this by saying I got a new driver's license in North Carolina in 2017, 2018. In 2019, I get the real ID with all this paperwork. Had to go up there twice, wait in line for like an hour. So the second time I go up there, I have all my paperwork. I sit down and the lady's like, okay, you're all done. We're going to take your picture. And I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, you can just use my one from before. I was like, I just had it like a year ago. And she was like, nope, a whole new driver's license. We got to take a new picture. And I was so fucking pissed because I
We're
was
ready.
a mess. I had been working in the yard that day and I was like, let me just go up there and do it. That, you know, I just check the wait times on my phone. There are not a lot of people in line. Let me just go up there and do it. So go up there. My hair is in a ponytail, like not a stitch of makeup on. My shirt's dirty, whatever. Because I didn't give a fuck, you know. I didn't think I was going to get my picture made. Motherfucker, I look so pissed. I wish I could show you this picture. I look like I'm about to punch a child in the face. I'm so mad in this photo. And then, don't you know, I get this thing. I go up there today. It's going to be an hour wait. And they're like, or you can do it online. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do it online. And I look, motherfucker, I get to keep that picture for 8 more years. I got to keep that fucking picture now of me spitting nails in that fucking photo. I'm going to have to share it. Every time I pull that driver's license out, Kevin laughs because he's like, you look so pissed in that photo. So on top of all the other shit I had to do today, that was like on my list. So yeah, I renewed my driver's license because I was like, I'm going to Mexico in like 2 weeks. Thank God my passport's good. But what if they take my driver's license and they're like, that's expired, you can't go? Or I was like, the worst case scenario in my mind, you know. I'm already thinking like, oh no, they're gonna like try and stop me from leaving or coming back or something, and I don't want to deal with the hassle. I'll just renew my driver's license. So I'm stuck with that fucking picture for 8 more years. But
I haven't even
whatever.
checked that in a while. I think I just got it a few years ago because I got the real ID.
Yep. But apparently, like, whenever I got the real ID, it didn't start me over on like the renewal process. It still went off the previous like 10-year one. So even though I had gotten a new one, you know, in North Carolina or whatever, it was still like, oh no, it's time's up. I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed. And I just looked at it today and I was sending the screenshot to my husband, like when I got done, and he just laughed. He was like, that's great. He's like, I love it. Of course he does. All right. So tell me about the trial. I want to know what's happening in it.
Oh, you know what? I should share the link in here. So somebody actually I read an article and they wrote out the story, and reading it, like the blog article, the newspaper,
Yeah.
it's like from a real place. It reads like a suspense story.
Ooh,
like it
okay.
starts out like a story, and you're like, oh, I was like, oh wow, this is good to send somebody. Like if they're like, what's going on in this?
And it's just like a concise like breakdown of what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, and it tells the story. It's like on the night of such and such went out. Like it just starts on a story, and I was like, this is good. Whoever did this is smart.
That's awesome.
So the trial's still going. What's been really interesting, because I've been watching like people talk about it, because I feel like court TV and the news and stuff, they're not getting it. They have like lawyers on who aren't following the case, and they'll just ask questions, and they're very generic answers and stuff.
Yeah.
Where there's lawyers that are actually following it online. And what I found super interesting, because I've watched court cases all the time, is I've never been in a situation where I'm watching. So the FBI is in on this investigation now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the cops on the other side, right?
Yeah.
The FBI is going after the police force. So on YouTube and stuff, when you're watching these interviews, it's interesting to see. I've never been in a situation where I'm watching two police agencies argue with each other. You know what I mean? Like back and forth. It's like they're like pissed at each other.
Yeah.
So
well, I was gonna say, I bet that's some hellacious arguing to be going back and forth.
Try to keep it pretty calm, but it's just I've never seen. Like I said, it's like one police force undermining and shaming another.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh my God, this is like juicy to kind of watch.
Yeah.
Usually it's always very one-sided, but it's not. But I was watching last night or yesterday, and they had a forensic person on. And so the story is from the DA is that she backed into him, whatever. Mm-hmm. So she backs into him, And then she drives home, goes to sleep, then gets up and then scrambles around looking for him everywhere. Anyways, they get this car. After everything happens, they find him, cops, ambulances, whatever. They end up towing her car back to the Sally Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, when it gets to the Sally Bay, there's 42 minutes of footage missing.
Okay. I think this is what we talked about last time, because how is there always so much footage missing everywhere
There's
in
footage
this case?
everywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. But anyway, so then they finally get the crime people to come out to go over this car. And there is a single hair stuck to the back.
What?
And I'm assuming it's his hair. Usually when you watch a court case,
yeah,
a lot of times the family will go first so then they can sit in the courtroom. You're not allowed to watch the trial if you're a witness until you're over. So they'll have the family go first so that they can go then sit in the courtroom. And then usually the first person up is the detective because like I was going to say, the person who took the hair off the car got up and she couldn't tell us if it was John's hair because that's not, she just collected it. She didn't do
like the forensics on
whatever,
it.
But
okay.
So it's kind of like hearsay. But if you're the detective, you're over it all. So you've seen her collect it. She got it sent off and you got the results back. So usually the detective goes first and he will tell us the story. So we'll kind of see what's coming. He'll be like, and then we found John O'Keefe's hair. Yeah. So they haven't even told us his hair. We're just all like, okay, it's got to be his hair for a while. So we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So because they haven't done that, it's very confusing trial for people because nobody's told us the story.
Yeah. Why aren't they going in order?
Because I told Proctor is in trouble. He's the reason the FBI is now involved because they said he did some shady shit. Like they seized his personal phone, and on his phone, he's admitting to his friends he was looking for naked pictures of her without a warrant. He was on her phone. He called her every name in the book.
This is the detective?
Yes. I wish she would just fucking kill herself.
Oh, shit.
This is why they haven't put him on the stand.
Ah, okay. All right.
There's all kinds of shit, and he's connected to the family or whatever. But anyway, so this is my question. How did she hit him at 12:30 at night, drive through a blizzard home, get back up, it sets out in a blizzard, drive around, the car be towed, and there still be a hair on the back?
Yeah, I was going to say, how many hairs is it?
One hair.
One? Oh my God. That seems suspicious as fuck.
I actually, when I was thinking that, everybody's like, they put that hair on there because there is. The car is in the Sally Bay alone with the other evidence, mind you, the Solo cups full of blood, which they set down next to the bumper of the car. There's pictures of evidence.
Oh,
they set the open Solo cups full of, because they said there's blood on the back of the car. Well, yeah, you drop the Solo cups next to the bumper. Yeah. But anyways, I think that the one hair got out there while they were in the Sally Bay. I don't think that they were like, let's place one hair. Like, where did they even find his hair at this point?
Yeah.
Out there? Somebody opened the car door and it probably just flew out and stuck to the wet car.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, why else? I can't see somebody like, let's place this one hair here.
Why not?
Somebody said something to me because I keep going back to, this is ridiculous. This can't all be fucked up. But my husband's like, only 2 or 3 people have to be in on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is true. He's like, not everybody has to be in on it. But I just keep going back that I'm like, this can't be all real. But there's so much every day. There's something new where I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
Like, but then somebody said to me the other day, or I seen it on Reddit, they were like, okay, so everybody sees it this way and they keep dropping back and they're like, this can't be, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not. They're like, but think about it from Karen's side. Is this bitch that lucky? Is she lucky enough that nobody had Ring cameras? Is she lucky enough that the investigator was terrible? Is she lucky enough that they didn't find those taillights on the first round? Is she lucky enough? And it was like, they were like, boom, boom. And I was like, okay, that's just as crazy too.
Yeah, that she's
that fucking lucky.
Yeah, that she did it and she's gotten away with it because of all these things have lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
Like she's been lucky enough to get away with this murder because everything's gone wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
I know. So when somebody said it like that, I was like, oh God, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
And here's one more thing that everybody keeps falling back on is Jennifer McCabe Googled How's long to die in the snow at
Mhm.
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Here's Celebrate. Celebrate is a system that's used all around the world. It is
Mhm.
like the A gold standard of searches. What I'm curious about is the FBI says she Googled it at 2 something in the morning. The
Mhm.
people that actually work for the FBI are probably going to be taking the stand. They're not going to say they're with the FBI though, because that's not allowed to come in.
Mhm.
Every time you do a trial, especially as a prosecutor or when you own a big pharmaceutical company, let's say, or an insurance company, sometimes you settle cases because you don't want to set a precedence for something. So
Yeah.
that is my curiosity out of this is I've never in my life heard of a prosecution saying that Celebrate is wrong. So what happens now if they come on the stand and they say this here in a few weeks?
That they're wrong?
That Celebrate is wrong.
I mean, what would they be wrong for? Like, what would they be wrong
They're
about?
saying that their data is wrong. So they pull all the
Oh,
phone data.
I see what you mean. Okay.
And this is like the gold. I mean, it's not even just used by all of America. It's used in Saudi Arabia. It's used everywhere. It's like a gold standard that they're going to say that no, she really didn't Google it at 2:30. Like the tab was open or something. And people have tried this because that's what I was like. Maybe the tab was still open and it reloaded wrong. And they're like, no, I don't know. We have to see the professionals. But that's another thing I'm really curious about is if a prosecution is going to say that Celebrate is wrong, what does that mean as a whole?
Yeah, what is that for every other case they've used
like,
this information? Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So, like, and lady listeners, if this is your first time in on this case, what are the names of what's the name of the woman?
Kevin Reed's trial for O'Keefe.
Okay, yeah. So you can check this out and Google it. Mel has been following it along the whole time, and she's been like giving me the Cliff's notes every week on what's happening in the trial. So
I watch the trial every day. Like yesterday, I didn't finish until like almost midnight because I have to pause. I'm going throughout the day and I just listen and stuff like that. But I'm listening to all of it, and some of it is just like kill me.
I'm finding it really interesting though. I find 11.
I haven't had a girl crush in forever. And I have the biggest girl crush on these lawyers.
I love it.
It is terrible. The cocky bastard came out yesterday, and they've been dragging this trial out. The judge has been getting on the prosecution about taking too long. They're like, come on. We told these jurors we were only going to be here this long. And they asked Alan Jackson last night, they were like, how much longer is this going to go? And he's like, I only need 4 days.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, damn you cocky bastard. That's hot.
That's hot. Yeah.
He was like,
that's so hot.
4 days. I was like,
you guys, if we come out with a book about an attorney prosecuting someone, just so you know, I mean, or the defense lawyer that's really hot and like obsessive.
But yeah,
that's definitely
it's hard to be a good cocky. Sometimes people are cocky and it's not attractive. But when somebody has the right to be cocky and then they say something, you're like, okay. That works. It works when you do it there.
I love it.
So,
all right. Well, thanks for our weekly update on the case. We're going to check back in next week. Well, actually, no. Next week we have Rochelle Page. I'm sure we'll have other things to talk about. But when we come back after that, we can check back in with the case because I want to know. I love knowing everything that's happening. So, all right. Is there anything else?
Mind you, like I said, they haven't put that detective on the stand, and we don't know if he's going to.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Like, I want to know what's going to happen with all that.
Stand or not.
So. See, and I like this because I don't have to invest hours of it. I just get to have you debrief and tell me all the good stuff. It's
I have somebody else that's following it with me. I'm glad because like random shit will hit me. I was like 1 o'clock last night and I was like, I text my friend Allie. I was like, oh my God, I just realized that they started calling her Karen yesterday. Or not Karen. Yeah, Karen. Because they've been calling her the defendant. They're like the defendant. And I was like, everybody on the stand yesterday called her Karen Reed. So it makes me think that everybody's been bitching about it online, that it's rude because she's actually Dr. Karen Reed.
Oh, shit.
So, and then today they come back and everybody's calling her Karen. So I'm going to be curious if they're calling her Karen again tomorrow. Because they do read and watch what people are saying online. Because I've seen, like, even in the Chad Daybell, I keep calling him Dumbbell. I can't. And they realize that the audience, because they think if the audience likes this person, then the jury's liking them.
Yeah, yeah. You can probably tell a lot from an audience how it's playing to a jury.
Yeah,
because you're getting an audience that's
whatever.
Yeah,
so in Chad, if anybody was watching that trial, they switched to the female prosecutor. Like the guy was doing it all, and then all of a sudden it was the female prosecutor up, and I was like, oh, they're totally reading what people are saying.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. Who knows? But I'm enjoying like hearing all about what's happening and stuff, especially when something like this, where the trial where it's different. You know,
I've never seen anything like that.
And I was surprised when you posted it up in Read Me Romance headquarters how many lady listeners responded to the picture that you posted of the solo cup. I was surprised how many were watching it too, and that knew exactly what you were talking about. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So there's like apparently there's some crossover in the romance community and like the crime, like the watching the case files.
A lot of people that are getting a kick out of it are people not from America, because they're like, they blows their mind that we put trials on TV.
Yeah.
They're like, this is crazy, and I was like, well, technically, it's all supposed to be public record. All of it. So. Like even body cam, you're allowed to submit for body cam. Any body cam. It doesn't matter. It's technically owned by us, the people.
Yeah, because it's used to a FOIA. That's the Freedom of Information Act. Yep.
So everything has to be given unless there's a huge cause.
Oh, that reminds me. Kevin was telling me about the other day. He said, I was leaving work and it was kind of late. And he said, I'd like packed up my stuff and I was coming outside. And he said, look, and he said, there's somebody in the dumpster, like going through it. And he was like, hey, man. He was like, the guy kind of like backed up. It was like, oh, kind of mumbled something and just sort of like got in his truck and left. And so he came back the next day and he like told the security people that night, he's like, hey, just make sure like that's secured or whatever. And they were like, actually, we can't. Yeah. And they were like, that's like public information. They were like, and he was like, well, what if it's sensitive information? And he's like, well, nobody's supposed to be throwing out sensitive information. Like that's supposed to be shredded. So like, if they are, that's public records. Like, whatever.
That cop took his phone to a military base to throw it away because you can't go through their trash.
Yep, you can't go through a military base trash. Nope. I remember when I worked at when I was a bank teller, I would float at different branches. And when I lived in New Bern, I would float out to the military base. So it was Cherry Point was out there. And it's like it's a Marine Corps base where they do like helicopters and stuff out there. They do a bunch of stuff. I don't know. But anyways, we had a branch. The bank I worked for had a branch on the military base. And so I had to go through all kinds of clearances to work out there. But that was one of the things that they were really strict about was like our trash, like any kind of like sensitive information.
They were like, how did he get to go and throw his trash out here?
Yeah, you can't just get on there. I mean, if you're a cop, you could.
No, he's a retired.
Yeah, that's
what I mean. He goes onto the base. I know he said before he goes onto the base to shop.
The commissary. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He goes on there to shop.
I couldn't shop in the commissary because I don't have a military spouse, or a military spouse like ID. I worked for the bank there, but that didn't mean I couldn't shop commissary at all.
It wasn't weird that maybe he threw a phone away because that seems easy, just a phone. But he claimed that he always takes his trash there and dumps it. Like he puts the trash in the back of his car and takes it to the military base like every week. And everybody's like, really?
I mean, I guess if you were like super paranoid about people going through your trash, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you wanted to make sure it was secure, but
he knows. Just like I knew even before he said it, I was like, he wasn't putting in that trash for him because once anything like 7 feet into your yard is public for people to grab.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So I don't know. I found that all super fascinating. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see more about what's going to happen next. All right, let's talk about Cassie Mint. So I want to mention she's got some audios if you want to check some out. So if you listen to Something Sweet today and you want something sweeter, do you like that? Do you see what I did there? The books she has up on Audible that I've got right here are Woke Up Wed, Take Me Home, and Big Boss. And those are all on Audible that you can grab right now. And they are $6.95, I think, on Audible. I think they might be on sale right now too. So make sure you check those out. And then she's got tons of books. Sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna. If you guys want to start somewhere, I would start with like the Grump Gone Wild.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a fake dating where they're really actually into each other. So that'll give you a really good feel for her.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorites is The Tutor, and it's the Kemp Hart College series. And it actually, the first one I think is the therapist book, which is hot too. Where
That
she
is
comes
hot.
in and talks to him, and then they end up falling for each other. And she has to keep going. I think her family keeps making her go or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she keeps like sneaking out, and it's really hot. But then The Tutor's like the third one, and he's a grump too.
That's
And
hot.
he's a virgin.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
he's so
Now you're
grumpy,
talking.
he's a virgin.
Now you're talking. That's
And
why
then in
he's
that
mad.
series is another one is a girl who's a surfer who got hurt, and she
Mhm.
goes and she swims in the pool at night because she's self-conscious about her scars and stuff. And
That's the
coach
Kemp Hart
catches her.
College series. Is that the one with the tutors? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Kemp Hart College series.
And then the Grump Gone Wild is the Grumps Unleashed series. And then
Okay.
one more series I want to recommend is Sweet Little Sinners.
Mhm.
There's a book in there called, the books are called, like, the first book's Thief, then the second one's Hacker, the third one's Honey Trap. But
Yes.
Hacker's really cute because he's like a bad guy or whatever, and she's like hacking him and watching him for years.
Hot.
And she just watches him, but then she ends up saving his life, warning him. And
I
then
like
he's
that.
like trying to find her and stuff. It's a really fun book. That's what I said. Like her heroines have always got like
I remember you talking about that one.
them. So like the girl being the hacker and saving him, it's a little different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The guy being the grump that's the tutor, you know, he's got his own little issues, and she's kind of like pulling him out.
Mm-hmm. The other one that is called The Guard too. There's the coach, the guard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the shrink. Those are all good. The other thing I wanted to mention, that she has a new release that's coming up. You can you can pre-order it now. It'll be live on June 20th. Is Close to the Edge. It's Huddling for Warmth, book 2 in that series. Book 1's out now. You can get that in KU. It's called Lost in the Wild. So you can grab those. And then there is another book she has up for a pre-order that's releasing in October. It's called Guarded by a Broody Biker.
I know. I have that one already pre-ordered.
Like, I fucking love that title.
I do too. I was like, I want this one.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, and the one you were talking about, the Thief, Hacker, and Blade, that's the Sweet Little Sinner series. I saw that that's in a bundle. You can get like the 4 books together. It's book 1 through 4, and it's free right now. Oh wait, no, sorry. It's in Kindle. It's free in Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure you check that out. You can get that in the book bundle if you don't want to buy them like individually. So make sure you check
Guarded by
those
the
out.
Broody Biker sounds really good. And if it came up in my email, I wouldn't be mad about it.
So Cassie, if
anybody's
you're
listening to this,
Cassie, if you're listening, wouldn't be mad at it. Just send that directly to Mel, okay? Thank you. Let me see. Cassie writes, outrageous, over-the-top instalove with tons of sugar and spice. She loves cookie dough, summer barbecues, and her gorgeous cat, Missy. That's the best author bio yet. 10 out of 10. All right, so the book you're about to listen to is called Something Sweet. I spend every Valentine's Day baking cookies for my friends and neighbors. But the bad boy who just moved to town, he's hungry for something else. My grandma always taught me to smile first and judge never. That honey will catch more flies than vinegar, and that kindness is free. I've got a smile for everyone, a pat for every dog, and a laugh over every joke. And so much love and happiness in me, it spills over. But the inked bad boy who just moved next door, I'll admit, even I shiver when our paths cross. He scares the bejesus out of me. I bake him cookies anyways. And now he's staring like he could swallow me whole. Something Sweet is a short and steamy insta-love story staring at tattooed bad boys and his starring a tattooed bad boy and his sweet as pie neighbor. That's so cute.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that says bejesus.
Bejesus scared the bejesus out of me.
Because I used to say you scared the Jesus out of me, and then Peyton said, did I ever tell you this? I was like, oh my God, you scared the Jesus out of me. He was like, there was never any Jesus in you.
Yeah, that tracks. Scared the bejesus out of me. Maybe Cassie's from Missouri. We'll never know. All right. I was going to say, we'll put everything that we talked about down in the show notes, like books and all that good stuff and all her links. So make sure you check that out. And that's it. Let's play something sweet.
Send them in. We'll see you guys on the other side.
All right.
This is Something Sweet by Cassie Mint. Read for you by Mackenzie Cartwright. Chapter 1. Elsa. Our cottages are nestled close together, with short paved paths from the doors to the sidewalk. It's barely any steps at all from door to door, and yet the journey to my new neighbor's place feels like one of those ultra-marathons that crazy people do. Not because of the warm box of cookies clutched in my trembling hands, and not because of the hot desert sun beating down on my head and shoulders. Nope. This epic journey is so scary because I know who's waiting for me at the other end. I caught a glimpse the other day. Sunshine bakes the red dirt, and the air out in the street is so warm it shimmers. Insects chatter, complaining about the heat too. Instead of flower beds, both our houses have rock gardens studded with succulents and spiky cacti, and I count 4 tiny lizards sunning themselves as I walk down my front path. Grandma used to say that no normal folks make their home on the desert's edge, only those who need to run away from the rest of the world. I don't know about that. This town is as hot as Satan's armpit most of the year, that's true, but Prickly Pear Springs has its attractions. There are the hot springs a short walk out of town, throwing off steam into the dry air, and for a small town, we've got some really cute shops and cafes. Emma, the librarian, can match anyone to the book that will change their life. And there's even a famous audiobook narrator who lives here and does public readings sometimes. So, yeah. Do I sound defensive? It's just that I love this town so much. The huge blanket of stars every night, unclouded by city lights, the smell of cinnamon on the breeze, the shriek of coyotes out in the wastes. I love my friends and neighbors too, every last one, except, well, I guess I don't love my newest neighbor yet, since I've only seen him from a distance, and even then, he looked kinda scary. But I shouldn't judge by appearances, and I'm sure we'll get along like whipped cream and pie. My flip-flops smack against the paving stones as I march through his yard. Enough dawdling. Enough taking tiny steps and hoping I never arrive. I'm doing this. Because sure, my new neighbor looked meaner than a rattlesnake when I spotted him unloading the moving truck last week. Sure, he's tall and muscly and bearded, and he wore motorbike leathers to unload his boxes, even in the baking hot sun. Sure, when his dark eyes snagged on me, a warning shiver rippled down my spine and sent me scuttling inside my cottage, groceries bashing against my calves. But that's a first impression. Everyone knows those don't count. And I won't leave anybody out of my Valentine's Day tradition, even super scary bikers. The whole point is to make everyone feel included. Balancing the pink cardboard box on one palm, I wrap my knuckles on the new neighbor's door. It's painted turquoise to match the window trim, and when the door wrenches open, the man dressed all in black looks out of place, like a singe mark on a colorful postcard. Yeah. Dark eyes narrow on me, and the man folds his big muscly arms over his big muscly chest. He's so broad that he fills the doorway, those heavy boots planted on his welcome mat. Yeesh. My mouth is suddenly drier than that rock garden. I squeak. Cookies rattle in the box as I thrust it forward. I baked you these. Happy Valentine's Day. Thick eyebrows bounce up the man's forehead, and after a short pause, he takes the pink box off me. It looks so small and fussy in his hands. Valentine's Day, my new neighbor repeats gruffly. You know, he's got a real nice voice.
low and deep and husky, with just enough growl to make my toes curl in my flip-flops. "You made me a Valentine's Day gift?" "Ooh. Okay, yeah. I see why he's all scrunchy and confused. We've never even met properly, and he thinks I'm giving him a romantic gift. Ha ha, oops. It's a tradition," I explain quickly. "I bake cookies for all my friends and neighbors every year for Valentine's Day. That way no one feels left out." The man frowns down at the box in his hands, like my words haven't made things any clearer. While he puzzles it out, my eyes take a greedy tour of my new neighbor. His dark hair is cut close on the sides and a little longer on top. He's wearing worn black jeans stuffed into biker boots, slung with a belt and hung low on his hips. That t-shirt must have been black once too, but it's faded to charcoal after many, many washes and fits loose on him. Though when he moves, his muscles press against the fabric and give themselves away. Intricate tattoos wind around his left upper arm, with dark roses and spiky thorns blended together. They don't stop. They disappear into his t-shirt sleeve like they might spread across his chest. How much of him is inked? He's watching me. Watching me stare at every inch of him, taking note of every detail like a loon. His harsh mouth twitches up in amusement. For a split second, those mean eyes crinkle at the corners, and it's like his whole face softens. It's magical, and so unexpected. I stumble back, stunned, and that smile drops away. My new neighbor's face is stony again, so walled off and unwelcoming, and I must have dreamed that almost smile. Must have hallucinated it, because now he looks mean, mean, mean. "Thanks," my neighbor mutters. It's the right word, but the wrong tone. Like he doubts my good intentions. Like he'll toss my rainbow sprinkle cookies in the trash can the minute I'm gone. You're welcome." My legs back up automatically, carrying me away from that grumpy stare, and my hands twist in my yellow sundress now they've got no box to hold. "Welcome to Prickly Pear Springs, For a beat, my neighbor watches me, considering, weighing his options. Like, after all this, after baking him those cookies, he might actually refuse to tell me his name. How will that work? How will I sign for his mail when he's out? Then, "Luke," he says. Kind of reluctantly, but it counts. A relieved breath gusts out of me, and I give a wobbly smile as I hit the sidewalk. "Nice to meet you, Luke." I scamper back into my own cottage like my hair is on fire. That went well. Chapter 2. Luke. I know that mirages are a thing in the desert, but I figured that was about hallucinating water when you're about to die of thirst, not bubbly blonde neighbors in yellow sundresses with sky blue eyes and boxes of fresh Valentine's Day cookies. The pink cardboard box stares at me from the kitchen counter. I set it down there a moment ago, my insides all jumbled up and chaotic after that damn social call. But now I can't seem to look away. Keep stealing glances at it, checking that the box is actually real, that my neighbor is real, not a product of last night's whiskey and too much sun. What's her name? I didn't even ask. She asked mine, and I didn't respond in kind. Shit. See, this is why I've packed up my bike and my books and my tattoo equipment and moved to the edge of the desert. There's a town here, with enough folks for me to run a studio, but I can opt out of the constant goddamn social niceties of life. Or so I thought. Unbidden, my eyes track back to that box. It sits on my counter, pink and glossy and innocent, and my hand twitches with the memory of holding it, the warm, gentle weight on my palm. Cookies, did she say? She baked cookies? Fresh ones? My stomach growls. Rainbow sprinkles. Rainbow sprinkles. Brushing the final crumbs off my shirt, I watched the multicolored flecks drop off me with dismay. My perky little neighbor didn't just bake me cookies. She baked me rainbow sprinkle cookies and brought them over to me in a glossy pink box. Is she nuts? It's not that she hadn't seen me, hadn't guessed what I'm like, because I know she saw me unloading the moving truck the other day. And yet she baked me rainbow sprinkle cookies. Okay, fuck it. I need to know this girl's name. Can't keep calling her Blondie in my head and picturing that golden glint of sunshine in her hair. Can't keep wondering about her instead of doing my business relocation paperwork. Brushing the last crumbs off my chest, I stride through the house. No time to think twice. No second guessing. I need to know. And I've always jumped first, then made it work later. Outside, the sun licks hot over my skin. This must be how an ant under a microscope feels, cooked alive. Well, I'd better get used to it, because moving to Prickly Pear Springs is my last smart idea. The buck stops here. My boots thump against the paving stones. The breeze strokes up my arms and curls around my neck, ridiculously welcome on this dry, dusty morning. 4 lizards sun themselves in my neighbor's rock garden, eyes rolling up to watch me pass. My fist bangs against the door, rattling the wood in its frame. Her door's painted the same candy pink color as the cookie box. Sweat trickles down my spine as I wait. The desert shimmers. Fist clenched, I knock again. Nothing, no answer. And when I hold my breath to listen, statue still on her doorstep, with only the steady thump of my heartbeat to hear. There's not a peep from her. Blondie is gone. My chest hollows. Is she out delivering more cookies? To a boyfriend, maybe? A crush? A real Valentine? Shit. No, I can't get stupid over this girl. I need this move to work. Digging in my back pocket, I find a stub of pencil and a crinkled gas station receipt. The sun is so bright that the white paper is hard to look at as I spread it on the door, ironing the creases flat with my palm. The pencil scratches against the paper, and I push against the door to keep it steady as I write. You know, if I had the right temperament for this, if I had that good neighbor instinct, I'd know her name already. I'd have invited Blondie in and made her a coffee, and we could have shared her cookies in the bright sunshine of my kitchen. I could have asked what she does for a living and whether she lives alone. Could have found out if there's a real Valentine waiting for her somewhere, and how serious that is. Whether there's any chance for a newcomer to challenge for the role. Instead, I scared her off. Well, that's for the best, because this move needs to work. Can't go sniffing around my neighbor. I'll learn her name, and then I'll keep my distance. My note rustles as it slides under the door. Chapter 3. Elsa. 5 days later, I drag my ass home from work at the dentist's office, my flat scuffing over the ground. The sun is setting, the sky is dusty pink, and it's been one of those days. A day where time turns sludgy, every minute lasting an hour, and I'm fighting hard to keep my mood sunny side up. Normally, I love being a receptionist. I like chatting on the phone, booking appointments, helping folks in and out of the waiting area. I like watering the plants and vacuuming the carpet and keeping things neat and tidy. But today was slow. 4 canceled appointments and barely any calls. Nothing to distract me from my thoughts. There are no prizes for guessing what's been on my mind, or who's been on my mind, I should say. Ever since our one and only meeting, I see the same pair of narrowed brown eyes every time I close my own. I hear the same gruff voice in my head, and feel the same swoop in my belly. The same shivers chase over my skin. It's wild. I spent less than 5 minutes hovering awkwardly on Luke's doorstep, and every detail of those minutes is tattooed on my brain. My feet ache as I reach my front door, sliding the key into the lock. When I was a kid living here with Grandma, we used to leave the front door unlocked and stored the key under a cactus pot. Nothing's changed since she's gone. Prickly Pear Springs is as safe as ever, and it's not like coyotes can work doorknobs. But I'm different now that I'm all alone in the world, so I lock my front door. Bet Mr. Grumpy locks his too. Bet he's installed an extra deadbolt just to keep the world away. My cottage is cool and dark inside, and so quiet now that I live here alone. If I stand still in the hallway, I could hear a pin drop upstairs. It used to freak me out, hearing the cottage cooling and settling at night, and I'd bundle up under my bed covers and whisper to myself that it's fine, everything's fine. I'm not scared to live alone anymore, but I sure do miss the company. Whew, boy. My voice echoes in the silent hallway, and something crinkles under my foot as I step forward. When I pause and peer down through the gloom, a ghostly white triangle glows around the edge of my doormat. Huh. Did I miss some mail? When I bend down, my bones creak like I'm 5,000 years old, not 21, and I make the same exhausted grunting sound that Grandma used to make getting out of her chair. The paper slides easily from beneath the doormat. I straighten, head spinning, and squint at it. Too dark. I flick on the hallway light, then try again. An old gas station receipt? I don't have a car. Did it blow in here somehow? Why? When I flip the receipt over, my lungs freeze. Blocky words are penciled on the back, scraped impatiently into the paper, and though he's signed his name, I already know who it's from just by the cranky handwriting. You never told me your name. The cookies were good. Luke. The receipt crinkles as I press it to my chest, beaming. Aches and tiredness? Who, me? I'm not tired. I'm wide freaking awake, suddenly buzzing with energy, and no part of my body hurts. I'm young, I'm alive, I'm floating up to the ceiling. He wrote me a note. Luke wrote me a note and shoved it under my door. This is the best day ever. But, shoot, how many days ago did Luke write this? Does he think I'm ignoring him? Because I've barely seen my new neighbor since Valentine's Day, only catching a glimpse of him once through his living room blinds, and he nodded at me then but turned his back. At the time, it made my heart curl in on itself like a sad little pill bug. But if he thinks I ignored him... My satchel clatters to the floor, and my front door bangs open. The sky's darker now, pink mingled with purple, and the first stars are out, winking at me like they're in on the joke. I run to Luke's door, ballet flats scuffing through the red desert dust. After a minute to yank my green work dress straight, I tap on his turquoise door. No answer. Music seeps from inside, faint, like it's in a distant part of the cottage. Did Luke even hear me? Or does he want me to go away? Pressing my lips together, I try again, louder this time. There's a muffled thump, the far-off sound of a chair scraping over tiles, then the heavy thud of his steps. I'm not prepared when his door swings open. Even though I came here, even though I knocked, I'm not ready. The air gusts out of my lungs, and I blink up at my gruff neighbor like an idiot. Luke isn't any gentler in the evening light. He's still booted and bearded, all in black, eyebrows drawn down. He still folds his arms over his chest, tattoo flexing with his muscles, and waits for me to speak. Hi. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Why didn't I change my clothes before coming over here? Why didn't I take a shower? I bet I smell. Bet my makeup has gone all smudgy after a day at work. and now Luke's frowning like I'm some junk mail left on his step. "It's Elsa," I blurt before I lose my nerve and run away shrieking. "I just found your note. Sorry, it's Elsa. My name is Elsa." As I talk, something like relief flits behind Luke's eyes, and his shoulders drop down. He's not softened all the way, not like that almost smile that haunts my dreams, but he looks less ready to slam the door in my face. His voice rumbles through the soles of my feet. "You just found it?" "Yeah, it went under my doormat." Luke rolls his eyes, but like he's mad at himself, not me. Then he steps back, holding the door open with one straight arm. "Then I guess you'd better come in, Elsa." Ooh, boy, it feels way too good hearing my name on his lips. My new neighbor says my name like he's murmuring a secret, and it gives me all kinds of fizzy feelings. "I'm gross from work," I warn him, ducking under his arm to go inside. Already, Luke's cottage is way more welcoming than mine, despite its cranky inhabitant. It's the lit-up table lamps, the Spanish guitar music playing in another room, the garlic and herb scent of food cooking, the feeling that this air has been disturbed by another human's breath, signs of life. The door closes behind me. "Agree to disagree. You like risotto?" Hell yeah, I do. Luke shepherds me through the cottage, one warm hand on my shoulder steering me through the doorways. It's good that he's behind me. Good that he can't see my face because I'm losing my teeny tiny mind over him touching the bare skin on either side of my dress strap. It's so distracting, I barely notice the rooms we're walking through. His hand is just so big, calloused and strong. Luke could snap me like a twig, and instead of curdling my belly with fear, that knowledge makes me go all floaty. Never want him to let go. We reach the kitchen way too soon. Luke lets go and strides past me to the pot of risotto, stirring it as the molten gloop spits and bubbles. It smells really freaking good in here, the air scented with buttery, herby steam, and my stomach cramps with hunger. My bag lunch egg sandwich feels like 100 years ago. "You can cook," I say like an idiot. My neighbor shrugs, not even turning his head. From this angle, his broad shoulders and trim waist are extra obvious, not to mention his toned ass and strong thighs, hugged by those worn jeans. The ghost of Luke's touch tingles on my skin. "Basic life skill." Well, yeah, but not like this. Heating up a TV dinner from the grocery store, that's the basic life skill. That'll keep you alive and nothing more. But cooking a whole risotto from scratch, chopping vegetables and adjusting flavors and stirring, that's on another level. Not a crazy level, don't get me wrong. I like cooking risotto sometimes too, and I'm no top chef. But of the couple of older fellas that Grandma dated in her time, none of them could cook a lick. They burned toast and barely managed cereal. They bitched and moaned until she caved and made all the meals. And I guess that set the bar in my head for men's cooking skills too low. Way, way too low. And now I'm pissed off on my grandma's behalf. Because what were those jokers trying to pull? It's not hard to boil pasta and heat up a jar sauce, or shove a frozen pizza in the oven. Doesn't have to be fancy to count. Would it have killed them to share the load with her some nights? Sure, I cooked for her plenty, but that's not the point. Where was the partnership? Where was the respect? And after all that, they had the audacity to critique her food, too. You okay back there? Luke addresses the risotto, still stirring, but he must have sensed my souring mood somehow. When I swallow hard and look up, I catch his gaze in the reflection on the dark kitchen window. Yeah. My voice scrapes out of my throat, and I don't sound like myself at all, not perky in the slightest. Just thinking that men are the worst. Luke barks out a surprised laugh, the sound echoing around the kitchen. A grin flashes in the window reflection, a glimpse of white teeth, then it's gone. That's fair. I've stepped plenty wrong with you already. Oh no, I didn't mean you. I meant the men my grandma used to date. Luke stirs patiently. And I remind you of them, huh? Lucky me. Ugh, it's petty, especially since he's feeding me dinner, but I stomp to my neighbor's side in a huff, leaning over the pot to breathe in the steam. Garlic. Careful. A gentle hand coaxes me back. It's spitting like hell. Nearly done. I straighten obediently, scowling at the cutesy splashback. You don't remind me of those useless old men. Glad to hear it. An elbow nudges my side. Want to grab 2 bowls? Yes? No? I mean, yes. I want to gobble up that risotto so fast I forget to breathe, swimming around in it like a hog in mud, and I want to do as Luke says. Want to follow his orders and make him smile again. But no, I don't want to leave his side yet. This close, I can feel his body heat seeping through my clothes, and I can hear every faint rustle of his t-shirt against his body as he moves. Can spy on his tattoo out of the corner of my eye, and stare at his corded forearms like a pervert. Okay? Missing him already, I wander away to fish 2 bowls from his cupboards. After all, it's bad manners to drool on my host. Chapter 4. Luke. Can't believe Blondie is here, chattering away about her day as she eats my risotto, sitting at my kitchen table. She's kicked her shoes off and drawn one bare foot up onto the wooden chair, pointy chin resting on her knee, while the other foot swings below the table, gusting a miniature breeze against my shin. I love the informality of that. Love how casual she is with me, and how domestic this all feels, and how she told me exactly what she was thinking when her mood went south earlier. Men ain't shit. Blondie, Elsa, isn't wrong. But I'm glad she recognizes that. Of all the people in the world, my bubbly neighbor deserves only the highest standards. She's in a grass green dress today, one of those office ones with the stiff fabric. Her long legs are tanned from the desert sun, and I have to keep dragging my gaze away. This close, the faint freckles across the bridge of her nose become clear, and her blonde hair glints gold under my kitchen light, and she's like a goddamn heart attack sitting in my kitchen. Does she know the effect she has on me? Elsa chats away, tells me about her job, her friends, her grandma who passed last year. She swallows hard at that, her smooth throat bobbing, but then she musters up another sunny smile. She's something else, all right. There should be big caution signs floating in the air right now, strobing red lights and the wail of sirens. Danger. This girl is lethal. Hearts may stop. Need to get her out of here. Should never have invited Elsa inside. Should never have written that damn note, then obsessed for 5 full days about how she didn't reply. Should never have eaten those cookies or answered the door or taken myself in hand every night since, picturing her bright smile. This move needs to stick. It has to. I can't uproot everything again. Can't keep chasing across the country looking for a place which makes me feel less fucking empty inside. Prickly Pear Springs is it. And that means no messy relationships with beautiful neighbors. No scooping her up and setting her on the kitchen table and shoving her dress up to her hips like I want to. Would Elsa let me do that? Would she like my hands on her body? Nope. Need to shut that shit down. It's getting late, I say as soon as she swallows the last mouthful of risotto. My leg jiggles under the table, and I'm wound up tight. Need to get her out of here. Need to get her gone before I do something unwise. I'll walk you out. Oh. Elsa's spoon clatters into her bowl and she sits back and blinks at me. Hurt swims briefly in those sky-blue eyes, but she blinks it away and gives a wonky smile. Of course, okay. Thank you so much for dinner. You're welcome. Don't think about hurting her feelings. Don't think about making it up to her on your knees. Don't think about guiding her to your bedroom and peeling that dress off her tight, tanned body and wrapping that blonde hair around your fist. It's harder than it should be to shove my chair back and stand. Doesn't help that I'm harder than sin, pressed up against my fly, all eager for her touch. This was fun, Elsa says, throwing the words over her shoulder as I steer her back through the cottage to the front door. Next time I'll cook you dinner. Maybe I'll make curry. Do you like curry? Yeah. But I can't last through another evening like this, not without buckling and trying to kiss her, touch her, to spread those tanned thighs and get a taste. We can't be friends. Are you free tomorrow? Elsa asks brightly. No. She flinches under my palm, reeling from the rudeness, but she rallies like a champ. Maybe next week then. You let me know. Sure. I will never, ever accept that invitation. Can't risk it. The desert is cool when I open the front door, waving Elsa through with one stiff arm. That's something I didn't expect when I moved here. I figured it'd be hot as balls during the day, no problems there. But the temperature plummets overnight here. Sometimes frost glistens on my rock garden when I step outside first thing in the morning. No wonder those lizards need to sun themselves to get going. The stars. Elsa breathes on my doorstep, head tipped back, mouth curved into a smile. I squint up there too and try not to show how fucking awed I am by the galaxy spread out above us. Maybe this is what I came here chasing. This feeling that I'm small after all, so small and insignificant. And that's good, that's right, that's calming. Yeah, I grit out, because she's waiting for a response. Pretty. Elsa gives me a 100-watt smile, like I just composed a sonnet. Okay, she chirps, turning to brace one hand on my chest. Good night, Luke. And she rocks up onto her toes, brushes the smallest kiss against my cheek while I lose my damn mind. My body takes over, wrenching the steering wheel from my brain, and just like that, I crowd Elsa backward into the doorframe. She meant to give me a goodnight peck, something polite, nothing more, but I duck my head and capture her lips, growling against her sweet mouth. She's small and soft, and she melts against me with a whimper. Elsa arches against my chest, rubbing up on me like a cat, and she grabs 2 fistfuls of my t-shirt and twists, like she's as hungry for this as I am. Think, damn it. I need to think. Need to rein this back in. Jesus Christ, Blondie. I hear myself say instead, my stupid traitorous voice ragged with need. I'm kissing her over and over, kissing her hard, our tongues sliding together, my body hotter than the midday desert sun. You're sweeter than those cookies you brought me. That is not helpful. That is the exact opposite of helpful. Luke, Elsa whines, kissing me back with just as much need. And it's messing with my brain, hearing her say my name like that, hearing the undertone of begging. She's unraveling too, and there's only one place this ends. On the sofa 10 steps away, our clothes tossed around the room, with my sweet little neighbor sinking down on my cock where she belongs. No. The word burns on the way out, but I say it, damn it. I grit it out. No. Enough. Spreading a palm over Elsa's chest, I push her back. She slumps against the doorframe and gazes up at me, confused. Her cheeks are flushed pink, and her eyes are bright. her body still arching toward me, calling me back to that stolen paradise. What? Elsa shakes her head slowly, fighting a smile like I'm playing a joke. You want to stop? You didn't like it? No, I lie. An acid burns my insides as Elsa sucks in a pained breath. All hints of humor flee her face, but this is for the best, okay? For the best. I didn't like it. Better to end things now, to bring a final stop to this, than to let things get any messier. Elsa will get over it, and we'll go back to being distant but polite neighbors, as we should be. But when her chin wobbles, I nearly break. It's my first kiss, Elsa whispers, and I fight the urge to slam my head into the door. What have I done? If I'm doing something wrong, you can just tell me. I'll get better at it. No. My throat aches like hell, but I'm in this now. I'll see it through, for both our sakes. That's not the problem, okay? You kiss fine. Better than fine. I just don't want this. Lie. Now her chin really wobbles. Elsa's eyes go all glassy, brimming with unshed tears, but she musters up that sunny smile one last time. She's trying to smooth this over for us, trying to make me feel better for rejecting her. She's such an angel, and I'm a smudge of dirt on her dress. That's fair, Elsa says. Okay, good night. She hurries away, and a vast pit yawns open inside me. My fingers dig into the doorframe, white-knuckled with the effort of holding myself back, and it takes everything in me not to charge after her and vault the fence between our cottages and undo what I said. Not to grab her and kiss her and show her how much I fucking loved it, how much of an ass I am. It's too late now. The damage is done. And when Elsa's front door slams shut, the vibration rattling my ruined heart, I tell myself that she'll thank me one day. Chapter 5. Elsa. Heartbreak is a new sensation for me. I've met some of its cousins before. Loneliness, sorrow, self-doubt. And of course, I'm well acquainted with that big ol' meanie, grief. We're close buddies at this point. But I've never felt romantic longing before. So this new flavor of rejection is an exciting new experience for me. Woo! How exciting. That's what I'm telling myself anyway, to get through the endless days after Luke sends me away. Anything to distract myself from the constant ache in my chest. It's nuts, really, that I'm so flattened by Luke's rejection when we only shared one dinner together, one conversation, one kiss, one bone-melting, brain-exploding kiss. Whatever Luke says, I can't help obsessing over the idea that I'm a bad kisser and that my crappy technique chased him away. It's humiliating, but I've practiced on my hand every night since then, sniffling sadly on my sofa all alone. You should kiss someone else, my friend Emma tells me when she drops a bag of books at my cottage on Saturday night. Even outside work, ever-practical Emma has big librarian energy, and it's soothing as hell right now. Slumping against my doorframe, I nod along. You know, ask them for feedback. Uh-huh, I say. It's a smart solution, strategic. There's only one problem. But what if I only want to kiss Luke? Emma's mouth curves down. Oh, Elsa. Her pity is awful. Wish I never asked. Squeezing my borrowed books to my chest, I chirp, Never mind, you're right. I'll go out later tonight and I'll find, like, a big sexy man to teach me how to kiss. There must be at least one in Prickly Pear Springs. A crash makes me jump. Emma and I both turn to find Luke outside his door, a stained glass vase smashed into pieces by his feet. He's staring at me, dark eyes fierce, and he's dressed in his motorcycle leathers, like he was headed somewhere, Oops, Emma offers after a long pause, laughing awkwardly. At least it was empty. Luke says nothing, just disappears back into his cottage and slams the door. Hope he's getting a broom, she notes. That vase would have been tricky on a motorbike, anyway. He's got one of those storage box thingies. My voice sounds far away. I'm not really thinking about bikes and vases and sensible transportation. I'm thinking about the wild flash in Luke's eyes when he looked at me just then, the tense set of his shoulders, when he glared at me, as though I'm doing something wrong, as though my talking about kissing other men actually hurts him. As if. Meet me at the watering hole, Emma says, tugging her blouse straight. 8 p.m., okay? I'll be your wing woman. You will? My sad little heart flip-flops. Hell yes. Wear something bold, okay? You're officially on the rebound, Elsa. I am? I guess I am. And if it feels all wrong, if it has the sickly tinge of betrayal, that's just wishful thinking on my part. My heartbreaker neighbor doesn't give two hoots where I put my inexperienced lips. Emma is gone for less than a minute before a fist pounds on my door. 3 guesses who's hammering away out there. I pause in my living room, lips pressed together, weighing up my options. I could answer the door and face Luke head on, let him borrow a broom or help with whatever urgent thing he needs, and fight to keep my face neutral the whole time, like my heart isn't splattered over the inside of my rib cage. Or I could not. Could pretend I'm not home. Pretend that I left with Emma, and I'm out being a sexy young thing who kisses men and drinks in bars and doesn't hug herself to sleep in bed every night, wishing she was held by her neighbor's inked, muscled arms instead. Elsa, Luke calls, his gruff voice floating through the door. I know you're in there. Come on, answer the door. Ugh, men. I stomp to the door in a snit and throw it open wide. Wish I was already dressed for the bar, hair and makeup done, legs bare beneath a slinky dress, but instead I'm in blue jersey shorts and a white vest top. My toenails are painted pink, scrunching angrily into my doormat, my face is makeup-free, and my hair is scraped up into a lopsided bun. Yes, I clip out, aiming for politeness and landing one step away from haughty. And it's not like me to be rude, but if I show even an ounce of emotion to this man, I'll crumple into a pile on the floor. Do you need a broom? Do I? What? Luke frowns at me, shaking his head, all impatience and intense brown eyes. He's bigger than I remember, looming above me on the doorstep, chest working up and down with each agitated breath. His broad shoulders fill the doorframe. No, I don't need a broom, Elsa. He says my name like that should mean something, like I should just get what he wants, should read this man's mind, when I don't have the first clue what Luke wants from me, and I never really have. I know what I want from him. Hugs, kisses, filthy, muttered praise, the smack of his palm against my ass cheek, my name said in his rumbly voice, and the smell of him on my bed sheets. But what Luke wants? That is a mystery to me, so I fold my arms and wait, barefoot tapping on the mat. What do you need, Luke? Because I'm going out tonight. He groans like a wounded animal. Don't. Big hands grip my doorframe and squeeze, and the devil must be in me tonight, because for a flash there, I picture slamming the door on those fingers. Guess I'm not as sweet as people think. Don't go out, Elsa. Or at least, don't kiss anybody. Please, I'm begging you. I can't take it. Can't take it? Excuse me? Since when does Luke care at all? I'm the one making out with my own hand each night and wondering where I went wrong. Geez Louise. Luke had me on a platter, and he sent me back to the kitchen. That's not fair. I draw myself up to my full height, Luke's shoulder level, and meet his tortured gaze. If you don't want me, you don't get to make demands like that. The desert is vast and empty behind Luke's body, studded with the raised arm silhouettes of cacti. A soft hoot sounds overhead, with the feathery rustle of wings. Don't want you? Luke laughs bitterly. Blondie, all I do is want you. Even though I know it risks my whole move. Even though I keep telling myself to shut it down, you're all I think about. All I eat, sleep, and breathe. You, Elsa, you. Hope blooms inside me, like the first buds of spring. But I hold myself back, fists clenched by my elbows. If that's true, why did you push me away? Why have you stayed away so long? My voice cracks, and I sound plaintive, but I can't help it. Why, Luke? He makes another soft, wounded noise, like I'm stabbing him in the gut with these words. And it makes no sense, doesn't add up at all, but here is my big, scary neighbor on my doorstep, begging me like a broken man not to kiss anybody else, looking ready to crash to his knees. It's powerful, giddying. It's a trip is what it is. And maybe it doesn't make rational sense, maybe logic can't puzzle it out, but it feels true. Deep in my bruised heart, this feels right and natural. The universe is back on its axis, and the sickly wrong feeling of the last few days is washing away. Like, yes, Luke hurt me. Yes, I'm still his, and he's still mine. And yes, he's got a ton of groveling to do. This makes perfect sense to my heart and soul, and already I'm breathing better. Freer. Thank God. I'm an idiot, Luke says gruffly, ducking his head so I can't look away. Those brown eyes bore into mine, challenging me to be brave, to hear this. I've been running for so long, chasing something I thought I needed, looking for the place that would make me feel like less of a hollow wreck. And I got here and felt better and didn't want to risk losing that. But it's not the town, is it, Blondie? Mouth scrunched. I shake my head. No, of course it's not the town, duh. No, Luke agrees, it's you. You're why I felt at home, why all the jagged pieces inside me clicked into place. But I was too much of a dumbass to see it. The second I chased you off, I felt hollow again, dead inside. My toes curl against the scratchy doormat. I'm holding myself back, but barely. But it's been days, I say. Several long, lonely days. Why wait until now? Tonight, Luke corrects. I waited until tonight. Because I had this whole big gesture planned. Just, please, will you come over to my place? Just for 5 minutes. And then you can leave if you want to. As if I could resist a mystery like that. As if I could resist him, looking at me with so much raw longing in his dark eyes, his whole prickly demeanor softened with, can't think it, can't let myself hope. 5 minutes, I say, unfolding my arms. Luke sighs and steps back. Come with me. Chapter 6. Luke. This is it. The pivotal moment. The big test. The moment of truth. It all boils down to me leading Elsa past the shattered vase, fussing over where she puts her bare feet, and through my cool, quiet cottage to the kitchen. Elsa deserves more than this rushed conversation. I had a whole thing planned, a picnic out in the desert by the hot springs, with a checkered blanket, a hamper of food, and that stupid vase stuffed with flowers. We can still do that if Elsa wants. If I'm the luckiest guy in the whole world. But first, I need to wipe that tired, sad frown off her beautiful face. Need her to promise that she'll never, ever go out and kiss anybody but me. Here, Planting my boots on the kitchen tiles, I wave an arm at the half-packed hamper on the counter. The air in here is warm from me baking and cooking all day, trying out recipes and guessing at Elsa's favorites. Steam fogs the windows and makes the stars outside look fuzzy in the purple sky. Hey, I know Elsa likes the fact that I can cook. I'm not above playing every advantage. So that hamper is packed with sealed tubs of my best risotto, an even better recipe than I made her last time, and crusty rolls and salty butter and bottled ginger ale. There are rainbow-sprinkled cupcakes cooling on a rack by the window, and a box of juicy red strawberries, glossy and ripe. I had it all planned, damn it. Was gonna sweep her off her feet. And now I'm tongue-tied in my own kitchen, desperate for my sweet neighbor to understand. Elsa squints at the hamper. That white vest top she's wearing is very fucking thin, and I fight to keep my eyes off the faint shadows of her nipples. I deserve this torture. A picnic? For you. For us. I scratch the back of my head, and my heart is pounding away like I'm running uphill. It's not just because of those nipples, either. It's the goddamn stakes. This is my woman. This is my future wife. And I've already screwed this up once. Was gonna ask you on a date and tell you how dumb I've been. Need you to know that before you go kiss another guy. Elsa wets her lips, but her sky-blue eyes are fixed on that hamper. You were really mean, she whispers, frowning at the strawberries. I've been thinking I'm a bad kisser. I've been practicing on my hand like some tragic weirdo. Ah, Christ. My heart twists painfully. I said you weren't. That's not the point, though, is it? But you're right, I fucked up. I know I did. Is that why you were gonna kiss some guy tonight? Can barely say the words, spitting them out like something sour. For practice? Elsa nods, and she looks as troubled by the idea as I feel. My perky neighbor won't meet my eye, examining the cupcakes instead, like there might be a secret message spelled out in rainbow sprinkles. I haven't frosted those yet. They're cooling. No response. I was gonna come knock on your door as soon as they were ready. More silence, as Elsa's lips press together. She inhales sharply, then gusts out a long breath. Pulling out a phone from her back pocket, she texts someone. Is she telling her friend she can't make it tonight? Christ, I hope so. A clock ticks on the wall. The faucet drips into the sink. Elsa glances over at the windowsill, then murmurs, You should water that mint plant. It's thirsty. Her phone goes away again, and I'm stuck, turned to stone, rooted to the ground because I showed her, I told her. I confessed everything. I've had my 5 minutes to win her back, and Elsa's still not in my arms. What if it's not enough? My gut churns, and my bones ache with misery. What if I can't win her back? What if I spent my whole life searching for this woman, chasing the way she makes me feel, and then scared her off? I was never gonna kiss another man. Elsa turns to face me slowly, fiddling with the hem of that vest top. Her cheeks are flushed pink, and her eyes are bright, but beyond that, she's giving nothing away. This girl would be a poker genius. And I'm not going out tonight. I just texted to say so. I guess I said that the first time to appease my friend Emma, and then again to make you jealous. It worked. It really goddamn worked. But I was never gonna do it, she says again, lifting one shoulder. I don't want to kiss anybody but you, Luke. Thank God. I reach her in 2 strides, scooping her up into the air. Elsa lets out a surprised shriek, her arms looping around my neck and clinging tight. Yes, fuck. I've been such a goddamn tool, and I am never letting go of this woman ever again. never making her lip tremble like that, never making her eyes glassy with sorrow. The only time I ever want to see tears on Elsa's face is when I've made her come so many times she weeps with exhaustion. "Marry me," I say. Elsa bursts out laughing, but I'm deadly serious. I squeeze her waist, crushing her against my chest. "Marry me, Blondie, and be my woman. Let me spend the rest of my life making you happy." She's still giggling, but her legs wrap around my waist, and there's no hiding the way she rolls against me, riding the hard length tucked behind my bike leathers. "What if I want babies?" She sounds breathless, giddy. "Then I'll spread your legs and plant 'em deep." Obviously, whatever my girl wants, she gets. And now that she's said it, now that she's planted that seed in my mind, I want that too. Want to see Elsa swell with my child, see her glow as a new mother, and watch her cuddle our babies and play with them under the desert sun. But most of all, above all that, I want Elsa. Elsa, Elsa. "We're rushing this." Her breath hitches as I kiss her neck. And whatever her words say, her body hints at something different. She's rubbing up on me, teasing me through our clothes and shit. I can't believe she worried she was bad at this. Elsa's a natural, and my pulse is already thudding in my ears with how badly I want her. "We should wait to get engaged. At least a few months." "A week," I offer. Hey, I can compromise. Elsa snorts, and when she finally kisses me, it's with all the sweet, agonized hunger that I feel. "Maybe," she whispers against my lips, "maybe after a week. If you're good to me, Mr. Grumpy." Oh, I'll be good to her, all right. Elsa is my new North Star, my whole reason for existing. She'll never have reason to doubt that again. A stray spoon clatters off my kitchen table when I put her down there, yanking her hips right to the edge. Those soft thighs part wider for me, welcoming me in like a dream. And delicate fingers race over my clothes, working the stiff leather open. She delves through my layers, finds my stiff, throbbing shaft, and draws it out into the warm, sugar-scented air. Elsa's thumb rubs over the tip of me, spreading slick moisture. I hiss, bucking into her hand. So good. But that's not how this is gonna go. Not after how everything went down. I promised Elsa a picnic, and now I'm gonna eat, damn it. She'll see. I'm a man of my word. My knees crash to the tiles. The whole cottage shudders around us. Hell, I've probably sent a huge crack splitting through the desert earth. But I don't care about anything except Elsa lifting her ass to let me drag her panties down. Elsa's breathing getting quick, and the soft cushion of her thighs settling against my ears. Sounds get muffled. I'm hotter than lava under my leathers. My cheeks are burning up, and my beard tickles against her thighs as I lean forward, mouth open and seeking. I find her slick and quivering. Fuck me. It shouldn't be a surprise that Elsa's sweet as sugar down here, too. Sweet and salty and tangy, with her own perfect musk. And Mother Mary. I could kneel here and lap away at her for hours, sucking her folds into my mouth until the sun rises again. When I lick her clit, her whole body stiffens and shudders like a plucked bowstring. When my teeth scrape that nub, she lets out a strangled moan. Fingers twist in my hair, tugging until my scalp stings. Yes, this is it. She's it. This is what I've spent my whole life searching for. So even though my blood's pumping, even though my muscles are taut with need, I'm lighter than a feather as I work Elsa into a babbling heap with my tongue. I've got that free, spacious feeling in my chest, the one that says everything is finally right with the world. She comes without warning, barreling off the tracks like a pretty little runaway train, all yanked hair and jerking legs, and the rush of moisture on my tongue. Should probably give her a minute, but needs riding me now too, and I lurch to my feet and crowd close between her thighs. Tell me to stop. My words grind together like rocks. Tell me to slow down, Blondie, and I will. My length rubs against her, parting her slick folds. Her body's so soft and hot already, and I'm panting over her like a wild dog. Please, I beg privately in my mind, please, need this, need you. Take me, Elsa says, grabbing my shoulders with shaky hands. She clings on for dear life, and yeah, she's gonna need that handhold. Do it, Luke. Make me yours. This has been Something Sweet by Cassie Mint. Read for you by Mackenzie Cartwright.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, lady listeners. Thank you so much to Cassie Mint for bringing us Something Sweet. We were so excited to have you with us, and it's about damn time. Okay. Up next week, we have Rochelle Page. Yay! She's our little ace in the hole. We love her so much. So we're glad she's coming back and being on the podcast with us, and we can talk shit about her. So look out, Rochelle. Watch your back, bitch. Just kidding. Just kidding. Love her. All right. That's everything. Whew.
Tell them what to do.
Fuck your day up. Make today your bitch. Don't be a dick.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Read me romance. Read me romance.